Let's rebuild the honey badger. Hate to do this in a way. Gonna have to replace this arm, which is just 2 plates is all I have to replace. It's real simple. I have a full honey badger kit. No, it's not full. When the honey badger went out of production, I immediately tried to buy up every frame on the planet I could find. I could only find 2. So I've had about 5 of these. I've completely destroyed 3. I used the extra 2 arms out of this on the honey badger already. So this kit is, right this second, is complete enough to build a complete new honey badger. Here's 8 arms. Enough to make a whole new honey badger. I do have a 9th arm from one of the kits. I wished I had 10. That way I'd have a full kit right here. There's your top and bottom plates. Straps. This is the front. Vibration dampened camera mount and video transmitter mount. These are little plates that go in between everything to make it square. Anyway, I mean, this is the way it comes. Hundreds of screws, seems like. Lots of standoffs. That's exactly how it's put together. These are just threaded standoffs on each side, and they go between stuff and screw in on each side. It's a really simple frame kit. One of the first ever. We were all producing drones and stuff with our own imaginations and whatever we could cut out of paper, plastic, whatever we could find back around 2000. This is one of the first frame kits that was ever on the market. It was like $100 too. Honey Badger quad kit contents. It's Delrin plastic. 30 standoffs in it and 100 exactly screws. Yeah, it's quite a thing. Geometry's pretty good on it. It's just, it isn't carbon fiber. This Delrin is fairly flexible before it breaks. The problem is the forces that are put on this in a crash. It just can't take it. It really snaps easily. And that's why it went out of production. Now, I have no idea if people got mad because they broke so many parts. Don't crash and you won't break parts. But for some reason, Peter, I forget his last name, seemed to be embarrassed in the end about stuff. I don't know why. You try stuff. It may work, it may not. If it doesn't, go on. Evidently, this frame was just really doesn't take a crash at all. Now I've got 7 left here. Darn it. So this is almost a full kit still. If I just had 1 arm, this would be a full kit. I could build up another one exactly the same and use all new parts on it. That would be lightweight. So these are the 2 arms. It's as simple as unscrewing 4 screws here, cutting a tie wrap, and just replacing the arms. That's all there is to it. Real simple. So I'm going to go ahead and do that We'll see how long it takes. So this really is easy. This is just taking like 3 minutes. 8 screws I had to take out. And this is the way this works, is there's 2 side plates, and then these standoffs go, oops, yeah, there's only 8 screws completely. These standoffs, this one has a rubber grommet on it to act as a landing gear. Just screw onto each side plate like that. There's 4 of them. I'm just putting the screws through the holes real quick. These 4 standoffs screw on. I'll tighten these in a second. So this whole repair might take all of 5 minutes. There's the 4 standoffs. This side plate screws on exactly like the other side plate. The motor has a plate on the bottom of it with 2 tabs that go in these holes, and 2 tabs on the other arm that goes in these holes. That's how the motor's held in. And this bottom tab and these 2 top tabs and this 3rd tab right here is how they hook into the top plate. So this is just a really, really quick. Let me tighten these up now. More than finger tight. These, oops. Now, drop my wrench. Can't see it. The hardest part of this is going to be taking the screws out of that top plate to raise it up just enough to get the arm underneath to catch these basically 4 tabs here. But no, it's just a really, really easy, straightforward setup. I think the problem with it was that it breaks really easy. It does not survive a crash well at all. If they were in existence today, I'd probably still be buying them. I bet they are expensive. They were like $100 a piece. They had a secondary type of camera mount for the front that was a few more dollars, I think, on top than this wooden one. Can't remember. It's almost 10 years ago. I think just the overall thing is that just any kind of crash and any kind of torque is put on these in this direction. Sure, it bends, but it'll only bend so far, and it just snaps really, really quick. I mean, really, really fast. So now all you do, oops, some of that mud off there, is the motor goes back in the 2 tabs. There we go. Like that. There we go. And then this other plate screws on this side. Get the motor tabs in there. There we go. That's all there is to it. Oops. Oh well. There's 2 of the 4 screws that are on the side plates. Oops. So that's how the motors are held in. Got 2 more screws here to go. Got to get my wires routed through there the way I want them. I think that'll do. Well, I think Delrin's kind of heavy. But, you know, 10 years ago, come on. This was just really sweet at the time. There was no such thing as a DJI Phantom pre-built from the factory. There were a few. DJI was in the business then, and they were making some frames, but they were making like the Flame Wheel and the 650 to do quads and hexes, and they weren't really doing any hardware, electronics at that time, much less building a complete ready to fly drone. That came 2 or 3 years after all this stuff. Oops, hit the tripod. There we go. So there's basically the arm fixed. Now I've got to take this screw out right here in the top plate and separate those plates just a little bit. Oops. Separate those plates just a little bit down here to stick those 4 tabs in, and it's finished. That's all there is to that repair. No big deal. I will fly it to prove it's still flyable and works completely in an open area. And then I'll retire it again. It's my first build. I'm just going to keep it for sentimental reasons. If I wasn't going to keep it for that, there's just all sorts of changes I'd make to it. Make it very much lighter nowadays with the new electronics. Let me put this arm on. There it is, repaired. Whole new arm, ready to go again. Like I say, I'm going to be more careful with it. Just do a couple of autonomous flights so I can prove that it still does autonomous missions, and then we're going to put it back up. So that's the arms that broke. Just snapped right. Almost in the same place. Close. Just because of the stress that was put on them. These are the ends. They kind of rock up, go in the bottom, and then rock down. That's how this hooks. And then the 3rd and 4th tabs go in the top and bottom plate. You can see right here, perhaps, where those tabs come into the top plate. One of them's underneath the transmitter. And then on the bottom, you can see the 4. This is the kind of hooked one right here, and then this is the other one. There's 4 right there. And that's just, and then the screws pinch it together. And that's how the arm is held on. That's all there is to it. Now, we will find an open field this time to fly this thing in, where I won't have to dodge bushes. Thank you so much.